for Video Wave, and tonight I'm here with Tom Goodkind of the Washington Squares, New York's own. They have 2 albums out on Gold Castle Capitol Records. The most recent one is called Fair and Square. We're going to be seeing a video from that in just a few minutes. Tom, a lot's been happening with the Squares lately. Can you fill us in on some of the most recent news?
News? Well, it's not news. It's stuff that a fairly underground pop folk band is doing, so I wouldn't describe it as news.
To us it's news. To those of us who are interested in good music, it's news.
It's true. You know, don't change the channel just because we're not naked. It's very important because you'll be able to see some weird videos on this channel that they don't usually show on other channels. And you'll amaze your friends because you'll know all kinds of new music suddenly that they have no idea where you got it from, like great bands, friends of mine like the Vomit Squirrels. And
the Vomit Squirrels, excuse me?
The vocal ensemblances. You know.
So it's getting back to the Washington Squares.
The Washington Squares have been touring for the last 7 years. We haven't stopped. So wherever they want us, we play.
But it's a little more difficult for you to play as a trio now, isn't it? Because
it plays a 4-piece. Usually we have a drummer. Well, it's me, and Lauren Agnelli on guitar, and she sings. And sometimes plays squeeze box. There's Billy Ficca on drums, and Bruce Pascoe on guitar.
Now, hasn't Bruce just moved to the West Coast?
Yeah, he moved to Seattle recently, and
That doesn't change things at all?
Now when you play in Chicago, the air flights are about the same.
I see. So you're still able to tour, it's just that you can't quite get together to rehearse as much.
We never did really rehearse.
That's an interesting thing about the Washington Squares. The Washington Squares were the first folk band to embrace the punk ethic, or the first punk band to embrace the folk ethic, or something like that.
Right. We got together at a little club called Speakeasy, also Folk City. Speakeasy is known because the owner of Speakeasy had this movie called I Spit on Your Grave, and that's how he financed the club. You know, people like us and Suzanne Vega and who else came out of Speakeasy? Some other people. The whole Fort scene, anti-folk scene, was thrown out of Speakeasy.
Right.
So that came out of Speakeasy in a weird way.
So Speakeasy is where you put down your roots.
It's the center. Yeah, it's the center of what was the I guess the new wave folk scene.
And you were all alumni of various punk and new wave bands, right?
Well, Billy was in television. We were all in other bands. Lauren was in Nervous Rex. I helped run a club called the Peppermint Lounge, and before that Irving Plaza. And we got together under the recommendation of the 1982 New Music Seminar. Malcolm McLaren got up and said, "Folk is it." And we said, "Gee, we like folk. Let's try it." And he was doing an album. I think it was an album or a single, Duck Rock. And we started playing folk music. We didn't know what folk music was, so we bought some folk records and we learned what folk music was and we did it.
That led to some criticism because a lot of the original folkies thought that you were more contrived.
We were. Yeah. They were contrived, actually. Peter, Paul, and Mary, Peter's probably watching this, he gets cable, but they weren't so much contrived as a business idea. I mean, folk was done as for business. We weren't playing folk music. We were playing folk music because, to get rich. Apparently we did. There's no money in this stuff. We did it because we like it.
For the love of it.
Yeah, and we play folk songs. We don't sound like an acoustic act. We're very electric. We're pretty loud.
That's true, and that makes it hard for radio programmers to decide whether you're rock or folk, whether to put you, and for record stores too, deciding whether to stock you in the rock section or the folk section.
Okay, I want to create. I don't think radio programmers tell you what to hear. They don't decide what's heard anymore. It's usually done by a computer, and most of you guys are probably listening to K-Rock or NEW, mostly classic rock. You can't really hear too much new stuff these days, so I don't know if that's really applicable. That kind of question.
Well, this video coming up is something that
NYU students did this video.
Yeah. This video is called Everybody Knows.
Leonard Cohen song.
Written by Leonard Cohen. Let's take a look. Hi, this is Don Eden for Video Wave, and you just saw the Washington Squares video. Everybody knows I'm back here with Tom from the Washington Squares.
Great video.
Tom.
And we're not naked. Oh, sorry. I mean, it's tough to get you guys to watch we're naked.
But Tom, under these clothes, we're naked.
That's true. I mean, you got to realize we're sandwiched by Robin Bird, so in a way it's sort of.
Wouldn't you like to be sandwiched by Robin Bird?
It has that fun sort of feeling to it, that jelly kind of feeling. The show, it's sort of nice.
So about the video, what was it like filming that?
It was cold. It was really cold. We did it in March. The NYU students sort of knew what they were doing a little, and they were very nice. And we did the video. It's sort of a silly interpretation of that song when it comes to video. We performed it very seriously, but the video is a little light. Don't you think? You just saw it, I guess.
Well, it is a serious topic, isn't it? Because
it concerns the plague, which is AIDS, and we've been very concerned about that, especially being on the road.
Mm-hmm. Wait a minute, that went right by me. Delayed reaction. But the Washington Squares protect themselves, don't they?
Yes, we wear condoms at all times. The problem I find with being a band that hasn't really been able to cut it commercially these days, besides the fact that it's hard to see bands like that, it's hard to locate them these days, is that I find more and more major record companies aren't picking up the underground bands, and the slack is being picked up by smaller labels that don't have major distribution.
Really? Because a lot of people feel differently. I mean, a lot of record labels have developed new alternative music departments, and a lot of them have been snatching up, the bands that were originally on indie labels,
Really?
Yeah.
Can they sign us?
You're looking for a new label?
Well, we have a deal, but they just breached contract, so we're looking for a new deal.
They breached contract. How did they do that?
It's long. It's a long
can't talk about it.
No, I can talk about it, but it would bore the heck out of these guys, and most people who are sitting in bed right now would rather see a nude talk show. So
don't say that. That's going to make them switch the channel.
No, they don't want to switch the channel because they're going to be seeing weird alternative videos that you can't see on normal channels. And it's hip. It's like, you guys haven't been to clubs in years probably. And this, you could fake going to a club by just seeing the show and telling friends about the new bands you saw. That's true. It's true. You could fake it.
Wait a minute. I watch the show and I go to clubs. That's not nice at all, Tom.
You do? You're younger. You're in your 20s probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
So Tom, speaking of the local folk and club scene, haven't you been taking part in that scene by producing up-and-coming folk artists?
I just produced a guy named Latch, who's great. He's part of a scene called the Anti-Folk Scene. He plays the chameleon. That's for Goldkind.
And he puts on Fort Nights, a floating club called the Fort.
That's a hip. You can say you went there. It's at 6 and A. And it's a real hip, it's a great club. It's a real hip room. Not too many people go there because people don't go out much anymore.
So you just produced him for Gold Castle, right?
Gold Castle Capital.
And you also produced Kirk Kelly, right?
I'm working on that, and another guy named Paleface who's just a great songwriter.
And he's managed by
Danny Fields. This is going to wind up sounding like, what's that show that's on Channel J?
Name dropping.
No, that show on Channel J with the guy who brought the Beatles in, like the Sid Bernstein.
Oh no!
That's a great show. One of my favorite shows.
Sid Bernstein, beautiful man. He's a beautiful man.
I love you. I love you too.
So before
I gotta say something. If you guys watch cable, can we pitch to another show here? I mean, you gotta watch a show. It's called The Gay Dating Game. It's on Friday. It's on Fridays at I think around 6 or 7 o'clock. I watch it every week. It's the best show on television.
Tom, if you had 30 seconds left to say anything you wanted about your music in the Washington Squares, what message would you give people? Pretend you only have 30 seconds left.
If you're going into music, especially folk music, get another job too. It really helps it, and your wife won't complain about what you're doing. That's it. That's really what I recommend. Also, please come and see us when we're playing in town, and we'll make my parents very happy.
What club should people watch for you at?
We always play the Bottom Line. We play twice a year. We headline, and for second bills, we usually, you can call me,
Look him up. His number's in the phone book, right?
Yeah.
Well, Well, thank you very much for coming down.
Thanks, Dawn Eden. This is my friend, Dawn Eden.
And you're watching.
Called me to be on the show. I'm really happy to be on
And you're
cable.
watching Video Wave. Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm Bonnie Beat. Glad you're watching. This is Video Wave. We're on every Saturday night at 9:30 and 2:30. Please stay tuned for our address, because if you have something you'd like to say or something you'd like to see, we're accepting videos all the time. We'd love to hear from you. Upcoming shows include my talking to Woodpecker and Tom Clark. See you then.